Hi, it's a Hi, Daniel.
That's right. His name's sweet too.
A little bit. A little bit. We're trying.
Good for you.
Well, thank you. Why keep going? This is good information.
Good to see you, Counselor.
Did you say you wanted me to kiss you?
No.
Rick? I gotta. You gotta do this. No. Oh yeah, that mutes it. That's the mute. Yeah. That's the mute. Yeah, John wasn't here yesterday to learn. Muskegon and Fremont. Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the City of Muskegon City Commission meeting for July 13th, 2021. At this time, anyone that would like to join us in prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance, please do so. Let's ask for a blessing. For a renewed effort towards civility and neighborliness, caring for each other, and tending our relationships as we would a garden. Holding each other accountable for our violent words and accusations, the tearing apart of our community by demonizing each other. May those who have been set upon, including our great friend Bob Skolnick, and our family members, friends, sisters, and brothers in the LGBTQ plus community who have been demonized, let you know that we stand in solidarity, in friendship, and our sameness, our shared peoplehood. A blessing, then, in the great ask for love and healing, for unity and love, a life of understanding, of selfless giving. Why? Because we need each other. Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. May we have the roll call, please?
Commissioner Johnson?
Here.
Mayor Gallren?
Here.
Vice Mayor Hood?
Here.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Here.
Commissioner German? Absent. Commissioner Sipica?
Here.
Commissioner Emery?
Here.
At this time, then, we go to honors, awards, and presentations. And item A says that there's a check presentation by Consumers Energy. And that must be you, Mr. Howdeman.
Thanks for having me, and thanks for those. That was nice blessing. I'm really proud to work at a company that's kind of has the same spirit as City of Muskegon. We really encourage our employees to bring their whole selves to work. And anyway, I just appreciate you saying that.
Thank you.
So tonight, I just wanted to really appreciate the relationship I've been building with Leanne and Leo. We've been doing a lot of interesting things together, and one of those was the first thing was, folks have been Leo drove by and other folks from the city and said, "What are you doing with that pavilion that's over by the city's leaf dump?" And I said, "I don't know. Looks like it's rotting, but we're not using it." So just started escalating that up the chain a little bit and saying, "Hey, the city's really interested in this. We're not using it. It's not being used what it was intended for. What do you think what do we think if we could donate it?" And it took a little while, but we got there, and then Leo said, "Yeah, it's going to be about $8,500 for us to deconstruct it, and that's not the reconstruction cost, but to even deconstruct it." And I said, "Well, went back to our folks and said, they're doing us a huge favor, really. We're never going to use this. We're going to have to probably tear it down ourselves someday. Why don't we help with that cost since the city would be good enough to oversee that?" So we really appreciated it, and we have a check here tonight for that. We want to present that just out of thanks. Also want to say thanks for, we just installed a plaque that you were a part of the dedication ceremony. I think Dan and you, Mayor, were over there. We appreciated that. Leo and his team have installed that over on the bicycle path bridge over by Cobb and our former Cobb site by Verplank.
Saw that on Sunday.
Yeah, we
Beautiful.
just thankfully for taking ownership of that and helping us take care of that into the future. So just really appreciate the continued relationship and working on things like that. Works out great. So just if I could, I'd just be happy to present this to you. And I know that Leanne has another request in for maybe on the other side of the project. So we'll see how that goes with our foundation. But we have our fingers crossed on that. So anyway, sir, thank you very much for being a good partner.
Well, thank you for your commitment to the city.
Yeah.
And again, the relationship and the friendship, because without relationships, without friendships, we don't go anywhere. And it's great to go together.
Yeah.
Thank you
thanks a
so
lot.
much.
Yeah, you bet.
Thank you, Consumers Energy. And next up, we have a food assistance report through Community and Neighborhood Services. And good evening, Ms. Bailey. Great to see you.
See everyone in person. I'd like to present to you, and what you have in front of you is a letter that was sent to us, actually just opened this morning, from Agewell, thanking the City of Muskegon for our efforts to support our community in the area of food assistance. And you'll also see some of the pictures that were taken. We had great support. I'd just like to say that we're doing good work. When I say we, it's not Community and Neighborhood Services, it's the City of Muskegon. And what we've done with the additional funds that were provided to us for COVID-19 from last year, we were able to set aside $50,000 for food assistance. We served 22 different municipalities. We also assisted with our serving individual meals as well as meal bundles. So on March 7th, we were at Marshfield, and we were able to provide 517 meal bundles. We had designated 500 for each site, except for the Muskegon Housing Commission. We were only addressing those tenants of 166. So we served 17 more people at the Marsh site because it was so needed. At the end of a month, when families are waiting for the next month's payment, it gets kind of tough to be able to provide the type of food that you want to eat. And so we were able to partner with Agewell and with the YMCA, and YMCA provided produce bags that were filled with a recipe on that day. All the contents of this recipe were in the produce bag, and there were frozen meals. So we over exceeded our number of 500. I had to go to my car and actually get bags, Meyer bags that I keep in my car. And we filled new bags because people just kept coming, and the officers. So thanks to the Public Works or Public Service arena of our city that saw the need and all of the cars wrapping around Marshfield, that they came and helped to orchestrate. Also, at the end of the other two actual giveaways, there's a little bit of food left over. So the YMCA, each Friday, they give away food to families who have children, and they give them a gallon or two of milk and other produce and things. And so our extras went to those Friday giveaways. So in all, we served quite a number of people, a total of 298 individual meals. 676 families received bundles of that. And those pictures show just who from our city of Muskegon that came out, and hot days that we had. So for all of us who were volunteers, and then if you show the other one that kind of has your representative, Commissioner Ken Johnson, was present to help us walk, and we did something different that day at the Baker College site. They literally walked the snake lines to see how people found out about the process. And so I can report on that as well, that 23% of the families that did come saw it on Facebook, and the others, 18%, saw our signs and stopped to get assistance. And others were 15% for friends that just said, hey, you got to go get this. So it was a huge success. Very pleased with what we, as the city of Muskegon, did do. And one of the questions that was asked of us is it just for city residents? And the answer, of course, is no. We wanted to be sure that anyone who had a need, no matter where they came from, and as you heard, 22 other municipalities, families from all around our county came to get some assistance. And so we're very pleased that we were able to provide that for them. So,
Well, thank you so much for the coordination, the efforts, all of our staff members that participated. Thank you, Commissioner Johnson, for your time in this endeavor. And what a beautiful thing to be able to help feed, the body as well as the soul. Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes, I just want to add on to that. Juanita, I want to thank you personally. With the event at Marshfield, I was not able to make it, but several of my staff, I opened it up to them and I said, hey guys, if you want to go and be a part of this event, it would be amazing to further build relationships with those that we already serve, as we know everything becomes so cross-sectional. And my staff came back and said that they have never been so proud and felt so dignified and felt so much camaraderie, I guess is the best word for it, at an event like that ever. And I think that it's important that when we remember that we have an opportunity to serve those who may be struggling with something, that it doesn't make them less than or other or any further victimized than is already happening to them. And staff said that it felt like a party in the park. And that it was great.
It was a hot one.
It was, yeah. And that they felt connected to each and every one there on some level. And so that's really important.
Thank you.
And I don't think that you get enough credit for that, that when we serve those who are in need, we're not serving the poor. We're serving the poor. And it doesn't necessarily have to be a victimizing event. And you didn't do that in any of these, I would assume. That this one didn't just stand out. And so thank you for that, because our community needs to feel connected in that way. And that's how you build relationships, so that we can get 627 responses to a survey that we're asking of how we can further help. And so that is a prime example of that. And so thank you for leading that work.
I appreciate that. I'm honored and humbled all at the same time.
Very good. Good
Very
observation.
Nice
Good observation. And thank you again. Thank you, everyone.
Cheers.
At this time, we have public comment on any agenda items. If any members of the public would like to come forward and make comment on any one of our agenda items, please feel free. Each individual is given 3 minutes. Again, it must be on any one of the agenda items, and all we ask for is your name and address, and you're allotted your 3 minutes. Is there anyone in the audience that would like to take advantage of this? It does not seem so. So at this time, we go to the consent agenda. Madam Clerk, we're back in person. While we were Zooming, I would remark that the commission had an opportunity to receive and review the consent agenda as presented, kind of like we do in court even. Yeah. What do you think that we should do? Go back to full reading of each one of the items, or
I'm going to leave it up to you guys.
Commissioners, any input as to this? A full reading out of the consent agenda as we did in the past before Zoom, or present it as is, and give opportunity to remove any item for further discussion.
Yeah, support that. Oh, either one. I'll support that.
For which one?
Second one.
Not reading.
Not reading every
reading-
single
not
item
reading
out
it out
loud.
fully.
If you're not here ready to work, well then maybe you should. Anyway,
I support that.
Yeah.
Also, the only reason why I could see benefit of reading it out is for people that are watching it on Channel 96 that might not have access to the packet or the agenda, and so this allows them to know what we are voting
Yeah.
on. So
there's some validity to that. I wonder if there's a way for us to circumvent that by adding something on the link on the website. I mean, moving forward, understanding that there's a way for us to publicize where they
yeah,
can
I was
find the
gonna,
agenda
like,
online to make it readily available for a click. So maybe for the first one, we read the whole thing. But moving forward, as long as it's
Yeah.
available electronically, that should circumvent those concerns. But way to suss that out.
Or don't we have the ability to show it on?
yeah, that's what
Well, we were gonna flip through each individual one if we were gonna read it, but if you
Okay.
want it, we can do this, like, instead, I mean,
maybe for future.
Uh,
ones, we can
perhaps
figure out a way-
for this week, why don't we do the traditional read through
Yep.
and then come up with. I know that this is posted publicly, the full agenda.
yes,
All right, but we can do some additional promotion on the fact that it is available, and perhaps moving forward we'll not do a full reading,
okay.
so everyone can take advantage prior and have it available to the public. May we have the consent agenda, please?
Yes. Approval of minutes, City Clerk. Summary request to approve the minutes of the June 22nd, 2021 regular meeting. Staff recommendation to approve the minutes. Taste of Muskegon Special Liquor License, City Clerk. Summary request. The Muskegon City Clerk's Office is seeking commission approval to apply for a special liquor license for beer, wine, and spirit service for the Taste of Muskegon being held in Hackley Park on Friday, September 24th, 2021, and Saturday, September 25th, 2021. Staff recommendation to authorize the City Clerk's Office to apply for a special liquor license for the Taste. Resolution to place charter amendment on the November 2nd, 2021 ballot. City Clerk. Summary request. On May 22nd, 2021, the City Commission adopted a resolution approving a charter amendment to be placed on the November 2nd, 2021 ballot. Our city attorney sent a certified copy of the resolution and proposed ballot language to the Attorney General, and his office has requested some changes. Staff recommendation to approve the resolution to place a charter amendment question on the November 2nd, 2021 ballot. Olympia Ice Resurfacer, Mercy Health Arena, summary request. Request to purchase a new replacement Olympia Ice Resurfacer Zamboni. Our current ice resurfacer is 22 years old. We are looking toward the future, and a new resurfacer now will give us at least another 25 years of service. This is a piece of equipment that is absolutely essential for arena competitions and ice maintenance. During a typical 9-month season, it is used almost all day, 7 days per week. The new 2022 model is more fuel efficient, is much smarter with how it maintains the ice, and is also fully compatible with our current ice laser cutting system. The build time is about 10 months, so we need to order it soon to be ready for the 2022-2023 season. Staff recommendation to authorize the purchase of a new Olympia ice resurfacer in the amount of $102,175. Issue Media Group, City Manager, summary of request. Issue Media Group is a weekly publication that looks to revive traditional media in smaller or underserved markets. The content is 100% independent, meaning that the underwriters do not drive the content. The strategy is to focus on news, features, stories in our community from the perspective of finding solutions. While we do still have active media in Muskegon, it is exceedingly difficult to cover all of the great things happening in the area. This partnership will help ensure that more of the stories coming from our neighborhoods are being told in a thoughtful and thorough way. Staff recommendation authorize the expenditure of $12,000 to partner with the Community Foundation for Muskegon County and Issue Group Media. CDBG Home Annual Action Plan Budget Community Neighborhood Services summary request. To approve the 2021 Annual Action Plan Budget representing the funding allocations from Housing and Urban Development HUD for Community Development Block Grant CDBG funds and Home Investment Partnership Act home dollars. Staff recommendation to approve the 2021 Annual Action Plan Budget for CDBG and home HUD allocations. Liquid sodium hypochlorite, Public Works filtration. Summary request. Staff is seeking authorization to accept the temporary price increase of liquid sodium hypochlorite from Alexander Chemical. Staff recommendation, authorize staff to purchase liquid hypochlorite from Alexander Chemical at a temporary increased price of $1.03 per gallon. Fire Station Upgrades Central Public Safety. Summary request. In November 2020, the Commission approved $236,230 in enhancements and repairs for Muskegon Fire Central. Over the past 8 months, change orders and other upgrades were required in addition to the dispatch expansion and remodel. Some of the costs are, in fact, dispatch's responsibilities, while others are directly assigned to Muskegon Fire Department. The summary sheet with the scope, cost, update, and basic notes to support the upgrades and repairs to complete the dual-use fire station is provided. At this time, staff is requesting an additional $165,468 in funding. Staff recommendations. Staff recommends that approval of the projected budget for the upgrades to the Fire Central Station. Peck Street change order number 3 and number 4, Public Works. Summary request. Staff is seeking approval of change order number 3 and number 4 to the Peck Street construction project 590-591-92010 with Kamiga and road votes. Staff recommendation to authorize staff to approve the change orders to number 3, number 4 to project 92010 in the amount of $508,762.31 for the additional work. Concession agreement, Grand Traverse Pie Company, Public Works. Summary request. Staff is asking permission to enter into a contractual agreement with Logan Link of Grand Traverse Pie Company at Pure Marquette Park. Staff recommendation, authorize staff to enter into a concession agreement with Logan Link of Grand Traverse Pie Company at Pure Marquette Park. Special event waiver, Muskegon Polish Festival, Public Works. Summary request. Muskegon Polish Festival is seeking a special event fee waiver for their annual festival in Hackley Park on September 2nd and 4th, 2021. Staff recommendation to approve the request from Muskegon Polish Festival to waive $1,000 in special event fees. MJ Verdant Conception Event, City Clerk. Summary request. MJ Verdant is proposing an MJ Verdant Harvest Celebration Conception Event at 1823 Commerce Street in Muskegon. The city's clerk's signature is required on the attestation form for the event permit filed with the state of Michigan. Staff recommendation to authorize the clerk to sign the attestation and approve live music at 1823 Commerce Street on October 9th, 2021. Community Relations Committee recommendations, City Clerk, summary request to accept the resignation of a member of the Zoning Board of Appeals. Staff recommendation concur with the recommendation of the Community Relations Committee and accept the resignation of Ernest Fordham from Zoning Board of Appeals.
Thank you. Commissioners, you've heard the consent agenda as presented. Are there any items you wish to have removed for further discussion? Commissioner Ramsey.
Item B, item C, item E, and item J.
That was B, C, E, and J.
Buckle up.
All right. Any others? Commissioner Johnson?
If there are no others, I move to approve the consent agenda as presented, minus items B, C, E, and J.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Johnson, supported by Commissioner Renzema-Savinga, to approve the consent agenda as presented minus item B, C, E, and J. Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Mayor Gallren,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hood,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Renzema-Savinga,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item B, Commissioner Ramsey.
Yeah, I'd like to recommend the motion to authorize the city clerk's office to apply for a special liquor license for the Taste of Muskegon.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Ramsey, supported by Commissioner Renzema-Savinga, to authorize the city clerk's office to apply for a special liquor license for the Taste of Muskegon. Commissioner Ramsey.
Yes, I just wanted to take a minute, Ann, to speak with you about the Taste of Muskegon and all the wonderful things that are happening there. As we just closed out our first Lakeshore Art Festival in partnership as city offices, and the huge win that was that we saw all stretch out and beautiful downtown. I wanted you to take a minute to kind of share with us what Taste of Muskegon is going to look like for us this year.
Sure, absolutely. So, all of our favorite food trucks and restaurants will be back. We have some new ones that are applying right now. We're just in the middle of accepting all those applications. They're all from Muskegon County, as is required. We also are going to have, we're bringing back some favorite beverages. So, we have the tequila cantina. We're also going to have some other spirits, local spirits. So that will be with 18th Amendment, Wonderland Distillery. I'm missing one. Oh no, I knew I did that. Berlinsburg, is that what it said? Okay. Well, anyway, there's definitely, Berlinsburg too. And we're also bringing back, one of staff's favorite, which is the slushies. We're actually going to have those too. So those will be there as well. We also have some really great entertainment. We have a tribute band of Journey that's going to be with us, as well as a tribute band of Queen. So it's going to be like an 80s kind of theme. Kind of excited about that too. So we brought in, like, one of the bands is coming from Canada. The other one plays at a lot of the casinos. So it's like a bigger than what we normally get. We're working on our opening bands right now. We expect to announce those shortly. And then we're working on we're going to have a pretty awesome kids area that we're also looking to add as well.
Wonderful. Thank you for sharing that. And one follow-up. If our neighbors would like to get involved in the process, to volunteer, to be a part of the wonderful event that we're hosting, how do they do that?
Oh, if you go to tasteofmuskegon.org, that would be absolutely wonderful. There's a button there that you can click that says you want to volunteer, and then we have all kinds of opportunities for anybody to come, get an amazing t-shirt, and put in a few hours. It's actually a lot of fun. It really is.
Thank you so much, Ann.
Thank you.
Is there going to be food?
There will be a little
Never
bit
mind.
of food, yes.
Can't stand you.
Anything else for the clerk on what we're looking forward to this marvelous event? Roll call, please.
Vice Mayor Hood,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Winston-Masipiga,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Mayor Gallren.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Item C, Commissioner Ramsey.
Hold on, I've got to scroll. I would like to make a motion to approve the resolution to place a charter amendment question on the November 2nd ballot.
Support.
Been moved by, were you first? Second?
No, I mean move.
He moved, you were second.
Sure.
Okay.
Commissioner Emery.
It's been moved by Commissioner Ramsey, seconded by Commissioner Winston-Masipiga to approve the resolution to place a charter amendment question on the November 2nd, 2021 ballot. Commissioner Ramsey.
Yeah, I just have a quick question. I might be a little behind the times. It says in the motion, or that in the brief summary, that the Attorney General requested some changes, and I didn't see those outlined in the document in the packet. Could we just expand on that?
Sure. There were two minor changes. The resolution you adopted in May was reviewed by the Attorney General's office before you adopted it. Then you adopted it. We sent it back to the governor and the Attorney General's office. Different lawyer in the Attorney General's office then wanted a couple changes. One was there's a reference to the 1908 Constitution. He didn't feel it should be part of this. The reason we had it in to take it out is there is no 1908 Constitution of the state of Michigan. It's a typo.
Oh,
And so we wanted to correct the typo. His attitude was, shouldn't be done as a charter amendment. Fine.
Okay.
He had a couple other minor changes. He wanted amendment as opposed to amendments, singular versus plural. Fine. So it's back in front of you for those two reasons.
okay. Yeah, I just didn't see it, and I wanted clear understanding to share with everybody out there in Magic Land. But that looked like, thank you, Council. Great.
Are there any other questions on the punctuation found by the Attorney General's office? If not,
How is it going to actually appear on the ballot?
As the language is in the resolution in front of you.
Okay.
all right. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Winston-Masipiga,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Mayor Gallren,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hood.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item E, Commissioner Ramsey.
Am I the only one who pulled items, guys?
Yes, you were.
Oh. Okay, let me find it on my thing. I would like to recommend a motion to authorize the expenditure of $12,000 to partner with the Community Foundation for Muskegon County and Issue Group Media.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Ramsey, seconded by Commissioner Rensma-Sabenga to authorize the expenditure of $12,000 to partner with Community Foundation for Muskegon County and Issue Group Media. Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes, I was just hoping that we could elaborate on this a little bit more. I have two questions. I would really like to know, even though this is great setup here, what does it cover other than what we would expect it to? Is there a way for it to connect with our Bang the Table stuff? I support this, Frank, wholeheartedly because I think that a lot of the times Muskegon gets a bad rap through some of our news resources in larger cities without calling anyone out specifically. And I think that anything that we can do to share a more positive narrative of the wonderful things that are happening with our community, I champion. I just think that we're doing a lot of that while we continue to speak about changing the narrative with our neighbors so that there's a more clear understanding of what and how we do things. I want to make sure that it's all intentional and that it's connected, because otherwise we're going to have, subscriptions to 100 magazines that we don't read. And so if you could just elaborate on that a little bit, that would be great.
Yeah, sure. So certainly we would have an opportunity to share any story that they write about the community, through Bang the Table. So I don't necessarily think that they would be sharing them through there. It would be us, sharing them to our community through that platform. But one of the things that I really liked about this is they stay independent. Mm-hmm. They decide on their own stories. They do the research, and it's very clearly not us doing the story. And a lot of times, like what we're sharing on Facebook to get messages out is like we ask Leanne to write something nice, or we ask Leo to write something good, or they ask me or Dave Alexander, and it's us writing our own stories. And this gives it a more objective lens to talk about those things, and also an opportunity for people to go out and see things that we're not seeing, and specifically spend the time to see those things in the community that we're maybe not even seeing, because we're still obviously shielded from lots of things because we can't be everywhere. So what we liked about this is there will be more partners, right? So I said Community Foundation. I know that they were working on talking to the county and potentially Norton Shores or some of the other communities around here that want to get involved. And the nice thing is, if you look at the map on here, there were a number of communities that they're already kind of doing this in Michigan. They're doing it all over the country right now, but in Michigan, you see they have one in Lansing, and they're doing it in Grand Rapids. I think what's not on here is what they're doing in Holland right now. And if you look, they've already been, they've been proactively getting involved, I think, in Muskegon. They've been dancing into the Muskegon market with some of their stories. And I think what they're finding is there's a lot of stuff to write about. Mm-hmm. And they think they could write about more good stuff if they had some resources from us or other partners to assign essentially a reporter here to do that work. And, I wasn't necessarily doing this as a knock on the current media. I think we get great coverage from people like John Mills and stuff like that on a lot of things.
John's great.
But it's many hands make light work. Mm-hmm. And I think the cool thing is these folks won't be beholden to the same kind of editors or things like that maybe some of the other, people that represent the media in our community might have to be beholden to. And so, they're specifically looking for stories that build the community. And they'll look at things that aren't positive too, but they'll tell them from a different lens. So it doesn't mean that they will never cover something that was a negative or a shooting or something like that, but they might cover it from a different lens about some more information or some positive things that may have come out of it, or the story of those impacted. And so it's absolutely not meant to only tell good things and put a false narrative out there. It was meant to be broad about what's really going on in the community, but to be truly broad. Whereas I think sometimes we're stuck where it's not truly broad right now. It's a little bit leaning, one way. This will kind of pull it back.
Yeah, and so that's really what excites me about it, is that third-party objectiveness would be writing for our community to read about our community. So it's not that clickbait or and we've all fallen victim to the clickbait quote that they put up half the quote, and then the story is about something completely different. So we really do have a chance to share with our neighbors positive stories with being told with both sides of it. Now, you say other potential partners in this endeavor could be the Community Foundation, and they're committed.
They're committed. Yeah.
And tonight is our ask to commit.
I think we're the second.
And then you said that the third might be the county.
Well, I know that they're
because I thought that the county already had a loudmouth who did a lot of stuff for them anyway. And so if that's the case,
I
maybe we should reevaluate that.
I know that part of the process is bringing the partners on board. So we were the second. They had a number of asks out there strategically. We were very clearly one of the top strategic partners after, in partnership with the Community Foundation. I haven't followed up in the last week or so to see if the other ones signed on, but you might find when you talk about it in here, their minimum is they want 3 partners to raise $36,000. That's not, that's a minimum, not a maximum. So if 4 or 5 or 7 partners show up, they'll just get more robust coverage and more stories and more content.
I think
So
that's awesome.
the 3 was the minimum. And so I presumed that they were going to find it because they found the Community Foundation got on board really quickly, and I saw the value of it very quickly. And I meant to have this in front of you guys even a month ago, but I gave them my word that this was something that I was going to be bring it to the commission, and so I got a feeling that we're going to see that third and potentially more sign on, especially if you look at the couple links that I put in here, the stories are very well done.
Yes.
There's a lot of great information in there.
And I'm serious about that. I just think that it's important to have stories written about our community for our community to read and not to sell newspapers or clicks or advertising space on the internet. And this is that.
Everything they click on will be free. So no need to get a subscription or anything like that. Everything
Awesome
that they
job.
have on
Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And kudos to the foundation for jumping on that too. Thank you, Todd.
For many years, many of our partners, including ourselves, have been looking for an opportunity to find such an outlet. If not developed immediately here in the community, to find a credible entity that could, provide this type of a service. Anything additional for the city manager before we move on?
If I could quickly say, and also this isn't new. I think the publication was like the Muskegon Times that operated here for like a short period of time. Similar sort of content, somebody that's going to spend a lot of time and do very thoughtful stories. I haven't seen that published lately. I don't think it's being published right now. So you can imagine it'd be similar to that.
But I mean, we've all had great luck with the Muskegon Times.
Yeah.
So if it's something
Anna
like
Gustafson
that,
was
she
wonderful writer and good
top
friend.
notch is the way to say it. Good job, Commissioner.
It is.
Anna
Gustafson.
Gustafson.
And a good friend, a very good friend. Okay. Commissioner?
Yeah, this is good content. I've read several of their stories in the past about whether the Lakeshore or other communities in Michigan. So it's great content coming from that site. I noticed in the packet it says it's funding from multiple sources. Can you just explain, like, are 12,000 coming from multiple sources, or you're saying the total is just coming from multiple sources? Can you?
Yeah. Well, the total is coming from multiple sources, and then what I'm saying in here is I don't think that necessarily this has to fit into like just the city manager's budget. I think I'll work with Ken to figure out, is some of this valuable as and it's all the general fund at that point. But is this something that fits? A part of it fits in like the police budget, and some of this fits in our current marketing budget, and some of it might fit into the city manager's budget, the city commission budget. And what I was getting at here is if we spread it out within the budget to the appropriate places, we don't need to do a $12,000 budget amendment to one particular budget. I think there's an opportunity for different places in the budget to
rather than putting it all under our PR and marketing
and,
budget.
and we very well could if that's what we think it is. But I was trying to make this not so much about PR and marketing, but more about the community. So then it really looks like it's a PR campaign on our behalf. And I was trying to say it wasn't that. It was about getting more engagement, and that comes from all of our all of our departments.
Are we maintaining our other investments or financial support? I mean, we had some kind of sponsorship with MLive at one point, that with some content, but that was more, I think, advertising and package. But there was some content to be created with that. And then were we also supporting the Livability mag at one point, the magazine? So Are we maintaining those? This is supplanting, or this is complementing?
Yeah, this is more like complementing. So the Livability magazine is different, right? That's really focused on attracting people maybe to the community. So it's really, like we got the Livability magazines, I don't know, a month and a half ago. Like our allotment of them, we handed over to the Delta and the Shoreline Inn and asked them to put one in each room. The idea of catching a visitor while they're here, teaching about our community, maybe they'll stay a little bit longer. So those are more meant to be more complementary. I don't know that we're necessarily doing anything with MLive right now. Nothing that comes to mind that we're doing. I know that the Lumberjacks, which sometimes is construed to be us, they had a pretty big partnership with them, advertising at the arena and stuff like that, but that was not paid for by necessarily by us. So I think you'll see like little things might come up and down, like whether we put into the CVB's publications or the livability one or others. We'll consider to look at those kind of, one at a time. But this one, if they're going to hire somebody, they kind of really needed like a 1 year commitment. And so what this does is allows them to make a commitment to do stories for a full year for us.
Excellent. Thank you.
Very good. Thank you. Anything else, commissioners? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Muskegon?
Yes.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Mayor Gollman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hood?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Item J, let's talk pie. Commissioner Ramsey.
This is the last one, guys. I would like to recommend a motion to authorize the staff to enter into a concession agreement with Jennifer Serrano of Grand Traverse Pie Company at Pierre Marquette Park.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Ramsey, supported by Commissioner Johnson, to authorize staff to enter into a concession agreement with Logan Link of Grand Traverse Pie Company at Pierre Marquette Park. Commissioner Ramsey, take her away.
Yes. Is Doug in the room with us? That's whose name is on the
No.
on the submitted.
But we do have the director.
Give me.
Perfect. So, this is a food truck, Leo.
It is.
I'm very excited about that.
Yep. Adds to a couple other ones we have down at Pierre Marquette. They're kind of coming in late in the game for 2021. And
Yeah.
I see I got the wrong year on my summary, but they were here last year as well, and kind of did the same thing. They came in late. So they're getting a little bit of a prorated price for the rest of the season. But yeah, I don't know if I invited Logan, but I don't know if he was able to make it or not. So
Okay, that's okay. I just wanted you to kind of share the story with our neighbors about what food trucks look like down at Pierre Marquette, when we can expect to see them, the diversity of food trucks that currently have agreements with us. They're down there, and what the whole thing looks like.
Man, they are not bound to be there on any specific day, so they generally show up on the weekends. They're generally parked where they can get access to our electric, which is in the parking lot across the street from the bathhouse. So that's the most common place you'll find them.
Okay.
We have electrical outlets there, and it's just an accessible spot for them. I don't have a list of all of them that we've had off the top of my head, but I know we've done at least 3 or 4 this year, in addition to the regular concession that runs out of the bathhouse, and Matt Kites runs their operation out of there as well. So
Further down.
yep,
Right?
They're
Okay.
at both ends this year.
Oh,
They're
nice.
in the little chalet as well. So.
Oh, yeah, I knew that. I just wanted a chance to highlight some of the great things that are happening down at the beach. And anytime we can share a fun story, like with Taste of Muskegon, or another food truck that sells a pie milkshake at the beach on a hot day, I think is a great thing to celebrate, and to encourage our neighbors to head down there, or for any of our neighbors that have food trucks or anything like that, to get involved in the game and head down there as well and benefit from it. 'Cause we all do.
Absolutely. We're always looking for new opportunities, so feel free to have anybody reach out to us, and we'll help them through the process.
Great. Thank you, Leo.
You're welcome.
And that does it. Sue and I are taking you to the beach this weekend, Commissioner Ramsey.
Yeah. Maybe I could buy an ice cream cart with like a little bell and just walk around and sell ice cream.
I'll buy.
Paletas. That's how we did it.
Anything else on this item before we move on? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Muskegon?
Yes.
Commissioner Emery?
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson?
Yes.
Mayor Gollman?
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hood?
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That takes us to public hearings. Item A, please.
Rezoning of 1747 7th Street, second reading.
Wait, public hearing.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm off. I'm like, wait. Okay, there we go. Establishment of commercial redevelopment district, 623, 639 West Clay Avenue, planning. Summary request pursuant to Public Act 255 in 1978 as amended, 639 West Clay Partnership LLC has requested the establishment of a commercial redevelopment district. The creation of the district will allow the building owner to apply for a commercial facilities exception certificate, which will provide a 50% reduction in the number of mills levied as ad valorem taxes, excluding the state education taxes. Staff recommendation to close the public hearing and approve the establishment of a commercial redevelopment district at 623 and 639 West Clay Avenue.
And good evening, Mr. Franzik.
Good evening. Tonight we're just asking to create the district, which would allow for them to apply for the certificate for the commercial facilities tax exemption. This is for a proposed marijuana micro business downtown. We have not issued any type of tax abatements for this type of industry before, but it's a heavily contaminated building that's been vacant for a couple of decades now. And despite what type of industry is going to be in there, it's going to need some type of assistance to get this building cleaned up and back up and running. So they initially were talking about doing a brownfield TIF on the plan, but after staff met with them, we realized that the best option going forward for them and for the city would probably be to go for this tax abatement, because it would give them the type of funding that they would need to be able to pay for this rehab while not tying up the taxes for the next 30 years, and also not putting all of the onus on the city through the tax abatements, as where it only affects the city through the brownfield TIF. So the city has already approved the marijuana license. It does include the building at 639 West Clay, the rehab of that, but they're also putting an addition on a portion of 623 West Clay, which is the vacant property next door. They've been very good to work with. We wanted to find a way to hide the parking in the back and kind of go along with our form-based code and how we're trying to develop downtown, make it more walkable and pedestrian friendly, and this really meets that. So we'll have the building addition along Clay, shielding the parking in the back with the alley access. So this is why we're here tonight, just to create the district, to leave open the possibility to come back for the certificate in a few weeks.
Good questions for Mr. Francis while we have him up here regarding the establishment of the district.
We also do have the company here tonight if you have any questions for them.
Very good. Anything for staff, Commissioner Johnson?
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. So previously we were informed that marijuana facilities could not take advantage of these abatements or incentives. So staff's position then involved in that, or we've got new legal clarity saying we can issue these abatements and incentives. I know we're not there yet. We're just creating the district, and if this weren't cannabis, we wouldn't bat an eye, in
Right.
terms of creating this district and considering abatements for it. So I just wanted to get clarity in that regard, given what we'd heard previously from staff on.
We reached straight out to the state and we didn't get necessarily a clear answer. It sounds like it's on the table for them to review it. They did not tell us no. They meet quarterly to approve these tax abatements, so if we were to approve it within the next month or so, they would take that to their third quarterly meeting where they would decide whether or not they would do that. Ultimately, if it was declined and not accepted, I believe we would probably push for a local-only brownfield TIF.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. Any other questions for Mr. Franzik?
So we have a policy for commercial rehab districts, right?
Yes.
I'm assuming it just follows the policy with the year, or that's when we get to the certificate, but that's the plan?
Yes, so once we get the application, we can dissect it a little more and go along with the charts to see what the investment levels are and how many years that they would be granted.
Okay. Any other questions at this juncture? And you said that the developer is present. Is there any desire to ask the developer any questions, Commissioner?
Not necessarily right this moment. I mean, you're welcome to elaborate right now, but also when we are considering issuing the certificate itself. But I heard previously it wasn't going to be cannabis only, that there may be other types of businesses on site. And so I guess I would be interested to hear about the micro business itself, but any other ancillary or non-cannabis businesses that may come to fruition on these properties. So if you do want to speak now on this, or you want to reserve that for when we issue the certificates, you would like to hear now?
I would like to hear that now. If there's a chance for a little presentation.
If you'd like to.
Yeah, I would too.
Come on.
Yeah. If that's okay with council. I just need your name and address, and then feel free to give us a thumbnail sketch of your plans.
Sure. My name is Stephen Kukelik, address 16269 Heron Drive, Spring Lake, Michigan. Sorry, I moved from Indiana. I just want to, first of all, thank you guys for the opportunity to speak to you. This is in an industry that is propagated with big corporations. We want to bring it local. So in the state of Michigan, the microbusiness license, there's only one currently. We hope to be the second one. And what that means is everything happens in this building. The growing, the selling, the processing, the employees, the community outreach. So really what we're trying to do is kind of move the cannabis industry, especially Muskegon, into something more locally orientated. Now, I can't speak to if there's going to be other businesses on the lot. As of right now, that's not the plan. It's not something we're opposed to. But as of right now, we're hoping to open that area up, kind of infill that part of downtown, and bring more traffic down, like Mike said, for the form-based code, and make it more walkable.
Okay. All right. Good sketch. Anything else that you might want to ask the proposed developer at this point? Okay.
Just want to, like, I love the local aspects incorporating that, but is there any other, what sets you apart from others? I know you said you'd be the second micro business, but we have other, retailers and dispensaries in the area. And so are you going to have a focus on medicine or holistic medicine, or is it going to be both medicinal and adult use recreation? Like,
That's a great question. And actually, one of the benefits of the micro business is we can focus on quality and effects over profit. So for us, we're not profit driven. We want to develop the plant in a way that helps the people that are using it more fully. Instead of just saying, hey, what can we do to make the most profit in this situation? We want to serve the community and give the best product possible. And being a micro business, we're not subject to market trends that say, hey, you need to sell it at this rate or make it as fast as possible. We want to get our product out there, listen to the community, see what they're actually looking for, and make cannabis a more friendly industry. And I feel right now it's very intimidating. You can't walk in there, they're not local, you feel like you're kind of out of place. And we hope to change that, especially in the Nelson neighborhood.
Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yeah, I'd love to see that building redeveloped. And welcome to West Michigan. And maybe if you want to move a little bit farther north, we've got some housing that was just constructed right around the corner from
it's
this
beautiful.
site. So you could walk to work.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah. Thank you.
Oh, no.
No pressure. No pressure. Vice Mayor.
Yes. I know you say you want to make it feel as local as possible. So, in your hiring plan, do you plan to have a diverse workforce there in terms of management, laborers, and whatnot?
Absolutely, and that was one of the big things for us. We've already reached out to the Nelson neighborhood, and what we do when we want to hire people, especially from affected communities, and bring in the diversity that you kind of don't see in the current industry now. We definitely want to focus on local and make sure everybody has a fair shot to get into the industry, which I feel like there's a big barrier currently that prevents that.
Very good.
Thank you.
Okay. Commissioner Ramsey?
Yeah, I have two things I want to say, and I'll do them quickly because I've done a lot of talking. So great to hear from you. Great to hear about that. Vice Mayor Hood asked a great question. And so I also want to press upon you that when we talk about hiring, no matter who we hire, that we really are able to look at what a living wage looks like so that the people that are working for us, that are from this community, that are part of the fabric, are able to make money that they can spend here. Because not everybody, especially small businesses, always have the opportunity to pay a living wage, or at least they presume that to be. But we know that that you save money on the back end if you are able to pay a living wage because your retention is longer, the buy-in from the employee is greater, and you really form a relationship. So I wholeheartedly encourage that because it also helps with housing. When people try to find housing, if they make a living wage, they can afford a place to live. And that's kind of what I do. So thank you for that. And then, Michael, can we get a picture of these two lots?
Yeah.
I believe
it's like right here.
Picture of the renderings.
Better
The
We
old
don't have
printing.
lots, but I do want to speak a little bit to your living wage.
Yeah,
I think that is
please.
a huge problem in this country, that we don't pay people a living wage to work jobs that you got to start at, and you have to work it. I think it is very important we pay people well above what they're currently doing.
Good job. I agree with that. From the
There's a
lot
picture
side
of
of
the front
it.
of the building and sides. I don't have a lot of picture currently on.
Yeah, that's okay. I'm going to share this with my friends, eh?
Absolutely.
And could probably put it right on the.
Oh, yeah, and can
Would
make it
use it.
fancy.
Use it.
Sorry, I was taking my chance to smell.
We were checking.
What we kind of did with the design is we wanted to keep the older style of Muskegon, the nice brick, maintain it, keep it how it is, and then add the metal corrugated siding and it'll be like faux wood panels to kind of bring the past and the present together within the building design.
It's a look.
And you know the building on Clay across from the artworks.
Yeah.
It used to be the old Anaconda Labs, then a print shop.
Yeah.
Yeah, right now it's mostly been used to park cars for festivals for the last few years. That's about the most use it's given our community.
Yeah.
Very good.
I think this looks great, and it expands that footprint of what we have going on downtown. It's
Very nice.
walkable. That's great.
Yep. Any other questions for our guest before we move on? Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Are there any members of the public that would like to speak to the issue of the establishment of the Commercial Redevelopment District at 623-639 West Clay Avenue? If not, I'd entertain a motion to close the public hearing and move forward. Commissioner?
I move we close the public hearing and approve the establishment of commercial development district at 623 and 639 West Clay Avenue.
Support.
Been moved by Commissioner Enzema Savinga, supported by the Vice Mayor, to close the public hearing and approve the establishment of a commercial redevelopment district at 623 and 639 West Clay Avenue. Any additional questions or comments before we go to vote? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Mayor Gallren,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hood,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Winston-Masibiga.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to unfinished business. Item A.
Rezoning of 1747 7th Street, second reading planning. Summary request. Request to rezone the property at 1747 7th Street from I-2 General Industrial to B4 General Business by Muskegon Rescue Mission. Staff recommendation to approve the request to rezone the property at 1747 7th Street.
Commissioner Enzema Savinga.
I move to approve the request to rezone the property at 1747 7th Street.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Enzema Savinga, seconded by Commissioner Johnson, on this second reading to approve the request to rezone the property at 1747 7th Street. Any further discussion or questions? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Johnson,
Yes.
Mayor Gallren,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hood,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Winston-Masibiga.
Yes.
Commissioner Emery.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. That brings us to new business. Item A, please.
Phase 4 LED upgrade, Public Works. Summary request, authorize the DPW director to sign the agreement with Consumers Energy and issue payment for the final phase of LED streetlight upgrades. Staff recommendation, authorize the DPW director to sign the agreement with Consumers Energy and issue payment in the amount of $486,401 for the final phase of LED upgrades.
Commissioner Enzema Savinga.
I move to authorize the DPW to sign the agreement with Consumers Energy and issue payment in the amount of $486,401 for the final phase of LED upgrades.
Support.
Oh, sorry. Almost be done with this project.
Support.
It's been moved by Commissioner Enzema Savinga, seconded by Commissioner Ramsey, to authorize the DPW director to sign the agreement with Consumers Energy and issue payment in the amount of $486,401 for the final phase of LED upgrades. Welcome back, Director.
Thank you. Yeah, it's exciting to be here for the last round of this. So I know it's a lot of information in that packet, but to condense it down, this basically would complete the upgrade on the entire west side of the city, which is the last piece to be done. So basically everything, or almost everything west of Seaway Drive would be included in this component. So assuming it gets passed and we write our check tonight, you know, it would be probably 2 to 6 months before they get going on this. In the past, they've gotten started in September and usually wrapped up early winter. So it's kind of the time frame you'd be looking at.
Okay, thank you. Commissioner Enzema Savinga.
So are you just going to take the check that Rich gave you and give it back to you?
I think it's a little short of
where is Rich?
Frank immediately handed it over to finance.
He got out of here before this item. So.
Well, we appreciate the check still, and we'll write out this larger check.
He needs to write about 50 more of those.
Vice Mayor.
So, if I heard you correctly, so the east side, East Muskegon is all done.
Correct. Yep. The previous phase, I think the first phase before I was here was downtown, and then the next two phases focused on everything east of Seaway Drive.
Oh, good.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yeah, I just have probably a terrible question. But when we talk about the upgrades, and we're about to sign a $500,000 check to be done for a process that took many years, when do we start upgrading the upgrades? Like, is that a thing? I mean, that's a viable question. At some point, these are going to need upgrades too. And Walt Frank brought up a great plan yesterday of how we plan to, with the ARPA funds, to stagger those upgrades within our parks and things like that, so that all of it doesn't come due at the same year. Talk to me about that.
The upkeep and maintenance of the lights is included in the monthly rate we pay consumers for all these. So future upgrades, as they happen, as things burn out or just need replacement, are covered in that agreement. The reason we chose to pay this was to get it done quicker and realize the savings that we get in our bill on the long run from it. I think if you look at the budget, about 3 or 4 years ago, our street lighting bill was around $550,000.
Yeah, ridiculous.
I think we're on track to be around $350 or a little bit less than that this year. So we're already seeing about $200,000 a year in savings on that every year. So
that's awesome. And then, without getting anyone in trouble, what was the project total cost for all 4 of the phases?
I wasn't here for the first phase, so I don't have that one in front of me. The previous 2 phases were also around $500,000. So I would guess it was in the $2 million range.
Okay, but we're saving $200,000 a year on our month on our electrical bill.
A year, yeah.
A year
So I mean,
on our
you're
electrical bill.
looking at a 8 to 10 year payback time on it.
I
so.
think that's great.
You weren't here.
I was going to say
there was
let's bring you up to speed.
There was a whole process. There was a special assessment on every property owner. I think it was like $18 or something like that for 10 years. Yeah. $18 a year for 10 years.
It was quite the meeting. Yeah, so I do remember all of that.
So it did have a 10-year repayment.
I missed that. So
yeah, I do remember all of that, and I just wanted to be able to congratulate and remind people of why we did this and how we're saving money and that it's finally over. And thank you, Leo, for the hard work. Yeah. And if you need help changing light bulbs, Michael Franzik has offered to help you do that. So,
yeah, I think it was a total of $2.7 million is what we did at that time had anticipated with the special assessment and the total cost for the upgrade. So, yeah.
I could tally. I don't know them off the top of my head. I feel like we paid $600,000 one year when I was here, and the other one was about $5 million. So
yeah,
I'm picturing about $1.5 million in the 3 that I've been involved in. So the first one may have been bigger.
I think the first one was a larger chunk. Yeah,
great.
I'm glad that we went there because initially it was just going to be a special assessment to pay for the operations of the existing ones, and we decided not to pursue that. Next year we came back and decided to do the LED upgrades as part of the special assessment, which
And now we got new lights.
Greater value and also saves us money, hundreds of thousands of dollars a year.
Absolutely.
So, I'm happy that we went that route and
support
better lighting and cost savings.
Absolutely.
Better for the environment.
Green.
All right,
Yeah.
Commissioner Emery,
My question was already answered how much we were saving. I'm excited about finally get to do the West End. Start with my street, please.
Could you? Sorry, this is kind of tangential. But might you be able to double check with consumers about potential shielding? Because I remember when we launched this, we were told by consumers that if a resident had light invasion into their house or property that was disruptive to them, that there would be options for potential light shielding to prevent that bleed into someone's house that's disrupting their sleep. So I'm just curious. I have heard a couple of people, raise that concern. And so if we get more of those, like what would be that process for someone to pursue that?
I don't have an answer, but I can follow up on that with you.
Thanks.
Certainly.
Okay.
We're not adding any new lights, though. We're just replacing the existing lights that we have.
Correct. Yes. Occasionally we get rid of extra, some that have crept into the system over the years. Sometimes there's a few less than what is there today. But
so
in general,
the
it's
LED
more.
lights are no brighter than the current lights.
They're more focused. You notice a difference. You'll
the
see
blue
them around.
headlights on a car coming at you down the highway. Yeah.
Different color light, and it is
right,
definitely more focused down on the street. There's not any cast up or out like there is on the other lights. Less light pollution with them.
Right.
Much
Don't
more
start
focused.
with Blodgett then. Start away from Blodgett. That's all I can see.
Very good. Any additional questions for Leo before we go to vote? No. Thank you, Director. Roll call, please.
Mayor Gowron,
Yes.
Vice Mayor Hood,
Yes.
Commissioner Ramsey,
Yes.
Commissioner Mississippi,
Yes.
Commissioner Emery,
Yes.
Commissioner Johnson.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Commissioners, at this time, if there's any other business to bring before the body, this is the time to do it. Does anyone have any additional business to bring before us this evening before we go to public comment on non-agenda items?
I've done so much talking.
Commissioner Ramsey?
Yeah, I've done a lot of talking tonight, so I just want to again thank everyone for being here. And I mean all of you. Sitting with me on this bench feels really good to be able to look at Teresa and see her roll her eyes at me and smile at Commissioner Johnson and I'm sorry, Commissioner Emery, and see her roll her eyes at me and smile at Commissioner Johnson and look at all of you in the face. And to those of you who are here in the audience with us, it just feels really good. And thank you for making it work for as long as you could. You and your staff really helped the commission survive COVID and to continue to do our work. And so there are not enough thanks for you or your team in doing that. But I'm really glad to be back.
Thank you for that. Thank you for that. Just bring a coffee cake next time. At this time, we'll go to public comment on any non-agenda items. Member of the audience are welcome to come forward at this time to present any questions or comments to the commission. We may not be able to answer the question directly this evening, but we can put you in contact with one of our experts. Hopefully that can address your concerns. All we ask of you is your name and address, and you're allotted 3 minutes for comment. Are there any members of the public that would like to come forward to make comment at this point?
Wanda Matsey, 1291 4th Street, Muskegon, Michigan. First of all, I'd like to say hello to everyone. For the 4th, I had company in town. We went out to Lake Michigan and enjoyed everything. My relatives enjoyed the food at the restaurant, the sitting so the children could play and have fun, and it taken some of the relief off from my parents' house who stay in Muskegon Township. And I just want to say we had a lovely time, and thank you, commissioners, for doing the work that you did out at Lake Michigan. It's beautiful. It's family inviting. It's friends inviting, getting together. The environment was just beautiful. And sitting and watching the fireworks and the children play and swimming in the lakes and watching the boats was just lovely. And I'm so proud of all of you. And I'm proud to live in Muskegon because this commissioner really works. That's all I have to say.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. Are there any other members of the public that would like to address the commission at this time? Sir, you look familiar.
This is Michelle, our market master. She put in a resignation. She's going to quit in September. Last year during the COVID, things were pretty tough at the farmers market, and I think I don't want to get into it too much, but I got a petition for you guys to look at. We'd like to keep her. It's a good idea for our farmers market, and it's all the vendors that sign. So that's about it.
Okay.
I don't want to name no names too much, or
That's fine.
so can I hand that to you,
That's
Mr.
enough.
Ramsey?
Absolutely.
All right.
And John, we just need your name and address.
I'm John Drummond. I own a butcher shop, and I got a spot at the farmers market.
Did you bring any bacon for?
No, I wish I did, but
Darn it, John.
I wish I would have. I could use the money. But anyways, that's all I had to say. So
Okay.
I'm not
Thanks.
very good at this stuff. So
All
thank
right,
you very much.
Thank you very much. Are there any other members of the public that would like to address the commission at this time? If not, Vice Mayor?
Then I move to adjourn.
Support.
It's been moved by the Vice Mayor, supported by multiple voices, to adjourn. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any in opposition? Thank you, everyone. Thank you for coming out. Great to see everyone in person.